This episode is brought to you by Noble Pet Foods. No nonsense, no bull. Go to noblefoods.com, use promo code DOGTALK15, and they'll deliver dog food to your house with no bull. I'm Liz Murdoch. Welcome to Talking with the Dogs. Today we have a celebrity dog. We always have very special dogs on our show, but today we have Minnie from a very popular new show. Those of us who have been home a lot in the pandemic are ready for a new show. We have Only Murders in the Building with Minnie, who is she's like a star to me because I'm a dog person. She's on a show with Martin Short and Steve Martin and Selena Gomez and plenty of other great actors and actresses who make cameos here and there. It's fun to watch the show, but we're going to focus today on Minnie, and she's with her dog mom, Josephine Cuzio, who I'm sure many of you listening to will like to pick her brain on how she became a dog mom, not just how she became a dog mom, but how she got her dog on a TV show with some wonderful actors. It's a great show. I saw it got renewed. Yeah, and that's exciting. And so I'm sure people want to know not just what Minnie thinks. She's turned her back on us. Minnie, are you comfortable? I see your skirt.
Should I turn her?
We would like to see her face, Minnie. Can you turn around? Thank you. We want to see you. When I watch the show, I want to see more of Minnie. And but I'm sure my listeners will want to know some of your stories, Josephine, and recommendations, how you got Minnie onto a show and what's that like. And I already get the sense from Minnie goes by Winnie. Is that a Steve Martin? Did Steve Martin make up the name?
They did, actually. They started off with the name Pete the dog.
Okay.
And she wasn't liking that name. So she didn't respond. And then they said, let's call her Winnie. So she seemed to like the Winnie name.
Winnie works.
Yeah.
Winnie works. I think it's great. So Winnie, I get this sense, I tune in intuitively, and you have said you've even studied animal communication.
Yeah.
So I tune in, and I already got the sense from her that she says it's not what it's cracked up to be, not in a negative way, but she's working, and she's not living in the lap of luxury, pampered at home. I definitely got the sense from her that she wants people right off the bat, if you're listening and thinking, hey, I would like my dog to be on a TV show with Martin, that it's work right off the bat. Yeah. What do you want to say to that? What should people know if they have high hopes that their dog is going to be on a TV show?
So yes, it is a lot of work for the mom.
Yeah.
The dog, I mean, it's a lot of waiting around. So until they're ready to shoot the scene, you're basically in the dressing room, she's napping, waiting around, I'll bring things for her like a bone or something to chew on, but it's not like it's constant, action happening.
Right.
And then, when you have to prepare for a scene, sometimes, they just kind of let you know right before. So has to be like ready to do something that she's just learning to do like in a few minutes.
Right.
So it's not like they give them rehearsal, and stuff like that. They will do the scene over and over, but it is a lot. The only thing I have to say, I think she does like the high value treats.
Yes, high value treats.
Yes, and I'd be interested to know what she thinks of the other co-stars, because I had my opinion of how she felt about them, but I'd like to hear what she's thinking.
So this is funny. So I asked her, I tune in and usually, and I say this for all of my clients, that if I'm talking with, say, a dog mom and their other family members, typically I won't ask them about their relationship with other people unless the person's there.
Oh, okay.
And so I do that both out of respect to the dog's relationship with the person, and also the privacy, because some people are not comfortable or they think it's weird that a dog can say something about them
when you're not there. Yeah.
Yes. So, I can tune in and I get information, and I typically don't ask a dog anything until we're in the session, but I can tune in some ways. But anyway, so with her, I was like, oh my gosh, I've never talked to a dog. I am a big fan of Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena. And like I said, the other people. So it's like, oh my gosh, what's it like to get to work with all these people? And she's like, first of all, she's hurt. She hears it all the time where people are like, I can't believe you work with Steve Martin. Do you have any idea how fortunate you are? And her response is, it's like all in a day's work. She's very professional. And so the first thing I got with her, with asking her about like, in general terms, not about their personalities or anything, but is that she wanted more time with Martin Short. And I was like, oh, interesting. And then I was like, as I started watching the show more, I was like, oh, is she being diplomatic? Because I didn't know that she is Martin Short's dog in the show. And then I'm like, oh, because if she has more time with Martin, then she's in the show more. And she, she's not in every scene as much as we might like her to be. So I was like, oh, are you being diplomatic that you want more time with Martin Short because then you're in the show more? And I think, and I get, no, she really does like him and she has fun with him. And it's sort of interesting that as we know, these shows are scripted. And so that and I say this for listeners who might not have a background in with TV, is that Winnie on the show, who's Minnie here, is when she comes together with any of the actors and then they do their scenes and then they go away. And so it's not like she actually spends a lot of time with them.
Yeah, that's true.
And so she enjoys what I get from her, like about Martin, you're asking, is she shows me how he moves his hands.
Yes.
And so I'm like, oh, okay. And she thinks it's interesting because often, like you talked about the high value treats, she's not necessarily looking to him for treats. She's actually entertained by how he moves, specifically his hands. That's what I'm getting from her. Yeah. And I like when I watch Martin Short, I'm fascinated by his voices and how his characters, he just makes the funniest expressions and stuff. But she is showing me, and even from a dog's perspective where she's lower down, that she's fascinated by his hands and his movements and what he's going to do next. And she finds that very interesting.
Yeah, he's very animated on set with, during the scenes. And he also, like, in between scenes, he actually will serenade her sometimes. So I do get the sense that she does have like a connection to him a little bit. Yeah.
I think so. But also I'm curious about what he does with his hands because typically, and she is included, like she knows who has the high treats to look for, but he's doing something with his hands that she's watching him for, that is different from most of her relationships. And she seems to enjoy it. She's not fearful.
Yeah, because, it's interesting you say that. She came in, we rescued her actually, and she did have a lot of fear and anxiety, which she's overcome a lot of it, I hope, but one of the things, she was fearful with sudden movements, and I'm actually impressed with how she's okay with his movements because he is so animated.
But there's something different in I mean, I don't know, are you still filming? I know that there are different schedules.
Yeah, no, we stopped filming for season 1 in, when was it? March. So we haven't heard anything yet about when season 2 picks up.
Okay.
But we just heard, everything's been renewed, which is exciting. Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. Next time you're with Martin, I want you to watch what he does with his hands. And
Okay.
I just see that it's something, even that it's not like I'm thinking the episodes I've seen all, I'm not even aware of what he does with his hands. I'm aware of his voices.
Yeah.
But there's something he's doing with her with his hands that is not scary to her, that she
Oh.
actually it's actually helping her trust.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna
Because
watch again the episodes.
yeah.
Mhm.
And especially that she's in, because you'll know what to watch. I've only
Yeah.
seen them once, but there's something that he's doing and how he moves and how his hands move that she actually
Mhm.
feels safe with and she
Oh.
likes.
Oh, good.
So that's what I got. What I get with Selena is that, because I'm like, Selena's also a singer.
Yeah.
She's so talented. So I'm like, Minnie, is she sing? Does Selena sing? And what I get from her is that Selena hums.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything about Selena
Mhm.
Gomez, but this dog is telling me that what Selena does that Minnie likes is that she hums, and
Mhm.
it's a silent little hum, whether she's writing songs in her mind or passing the time. What can you share about that you have noticed that is okay to share?
Sure. So what I've noticed, and it really made me smile when I was on set, was in between them doing the scenes, when they break for a second or a couple of minutes, they would sing to her and like, well, he would mostly sing and make up songs like Minnie, in an opera voice, because he changes his voice all the time.
Right.
And actually Steve Martin as well would sing to her, and Selena didn't sing words, but I think she did do something like that. And then, of course,
Like a humming something.
yes, so she did feel very, very comfortable with the trio,
Yeah.
um, which was interesting because I just learned this actually. This is the first time we've been on set for a TV show. When
Uh-huh.
they're filming, they actually have an A team and a B team
Mm-hmm.
to rehearse the scene. And so when the B team comes in, they're not the actors. She actually wasn't that comfortable with them. And then when the A team came in, which was Selena, Steve, and Martin, she was on and she felt a lot more relaxed.
Is that something that she knows the difference?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, because she hasn't mentioned them to me,
Mm-hmm.
but she definitely, I could hear Selena is the humming, and I never thought about that. The humming kind of noise, and it's a subtle kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
that she's sharing that she likes with Selena, and Martin with his hands. And I haven't gotten, let's see what she wants to say about Steve. Oh, first of all, she's like, she thinks it's very funny that she's actually on a podcast, because much of what one of the threads of the storyline of the show is this podcast.
Yes. Yes.
And Martin Short interviews people throughout
Mm-hmm.
this episodes for this podcast. And Minnie um, says that Martin Short has not interviewed her for the podcast on TV. And so here we are, and we'll see what happens. But she definitely gets to have a voice here, and we'll
Yes.
see what else she wants to say. She wants to go back to answering questions about letting people know about what it's like to be a dog on a TV show. And
Mm-hmm.
she says she does like that she's getting noticed more when she walks down the street. And she says that what she likes about it is that it's her platform
Mm-hmm.
for not necessarily talking about the show, but just like many actors have causes, she
Uh-huh.
likes that this can be part of a conversation, that her story, and that she ended up on a TV show.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So, do you want to tell any of the listeners about her journey from where she started and now she's on a TV show?
Sure. So, she was in Florida, Redlands area in Miami,
Uh-huh.
which is not actually a very nice area. It's where dogs are dumped
Mm-hmm.
by their families most of the time. I was on Facebook and their photo popped up of her and this other bulldog that were being rescued, and they were looking for someone to foster her. We had just lost one of our bulldogs, Princess actually, and we volunteered to foster. So she arrived at our home. She was very thin, very frail, very fearful of everyone, especially men. So she's definitely come a long way, and I'd love to hear how she feels about everything.
She goes back to them, and I think that she feels so clearly comfortable with them, and not against Selena, but when you talk about the men influence in the past where she had some issues,
Yeah.
and especially with the hands, and maybe that's why it's so significant that whatever Martin is doing with his hands while they're filming and while they're together, she finds it comforting, and she feels safe with them. And I think that is the biggest thing, because she immediately went to time with Martin, and the hand thing to her, and how, oh, ha ha, you can teach a dog new tricks. That it's reassuring to her, because I can ask her like what she's getting about her past. I get the sense of a bumpy ride, like she was physically jostled and moved around. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, I've had dogs talk about the sounds in shelters that they didn't like, that they're reactive to sounds or other things. She's showing me being reactive in a way to movement, to this jostling that she doesn't like. And I think of her like she's in the stroller. And it's actually a very good place for her. However that worked out, maybe you can comment if they explore different ways to show her in the show. But the stroller is a safe place for her because she's secure. Did they go through different tests on what to do with her?
No, it's really funny actually. So she, I did early training with her to try to desensitize through the fear. And obviously we have a quiet household. We don't have children. We only have our fur babies. So we, provided a lot of nurturing love and tried to make her feel safe. And also since I did take animal communication, I actually was studying it all through when we first fostered her. And I tried, talking to her a lot about things and not to be afraid, and hopefully she would trust me. So anyway, with the show, we get a call that they're looking for a dog who's white in color mostly, and that can jump into a stroller and feel comfortable and have her head out. So it's funny because she does love being in the stroller. I had a couple of different strollers, and she just it's like her safe place.
She feels safe because it's sturdy, and she's not jostled. She wouldn't like being jostled, but she can see. Yeah.
And then she can peek out with her. So I actually had to take a video of her going in, out, peeking out, me pushing and with her peeking out. And when they saw the video with her tongue out and everything, they wanted her to be on set. So, and they have her stroller on set. We have one at home that's her stroller. So there's two of them. But when we're on set, she'll have it in her dressing room. It's her little place to jump into if she wants to relax. When we're waiting, it's like her little safe place, which is good.
So that's for listeners who have big dreams of their dogs on TV. That is probably something to take note, is that your dog will have a lot of waiting around, and make sure that it's comfortable. I will talk to people about the importance of a crate, even with the door open, but it doesn't have to be a crate, just having a safe place for any dog, whether or not it's on TV or just in a busy home.
Yeah, sure.
So in your question, going back, that was a trigger thing for her, a sore spot, so to speak, is that whatever happened to her, she doesn't like being jostled like that.
Yeah.
And
so she definitely had a lot of sound phobia and things moving. Like if I would open the kitchen drawer, she would like go, cower back. So I had to like work with that, like all these different sounds. And what we do on set, she's done a few modeling jobs prior
Uh-huh.
to the TV show, being on set is a whole different thing. And I just asked them if they could let her see everything, walk through it before we actually get thrown into it. So she's not afraid and
Right.
she, know what she's getting into. She's gonna have to jump on the couch. She's gonna have to be on her little bed. How does she feel about that little bed on the set? I'm just curious.
Oh gosh. Okay. So I get the smells. I guess it's new
Mhm.
that it doesn't smell like hers.
Okay.
So she said to make it better, put some smells in there that are hers.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yeah, it doesn't smell. So it's she'll stay in it longer if it
Mhm.
smells familiar.
Oh,
It
that's
smells
great.
like chemically to me. Like it,
Probably. I guess they clean everything, right?
yeah, she doesn't like the smell. It's like I want to gag.
Oh,
And
no.
I know that like that I mean I don't know. The bulldogs that they have a different breathing. Sometimes you have to be careful. The smell of that bed could be better for her.
Okay. I'll
So
take note of that.
whatever props does, yeah, she's like
Yeah.
actors can have their needs. Yeah, it smells musty sometimes, especially if they bring it out after it's been put away between
Sure.
seasons. She says there's two different beds they have.
Hmm.
Do they have two different beds that they swap?
They, no, they have one round bed,
Mhm.
but I don't know if she means they sometimes have her on the couch, so it could be maybe the couch or the,
Yeah, she's like there's two places
uh-huh.
where she is, and I think the couch one smells better than the other. Definitely the bed is not. I think she like bring a pillow, bring something from home that you
Yeah.
can cover it, and when they
Okay.
action they take it away.
Hmm.
Would help the
Would make
smell.
her feel comfortable. Okay.
Yes, yes, it's subtle. That's so interesting.
It is interesting because, with COVID, that I've never experienced this either, but there was a lot of cleaning and sanitizing on set, and I'm wondering if that's what they did in between and maybe that's the smell.
There's something about it that if they want her to here, let me give them direction, right? If they want her to be in the dog bed for an extended scene, do something to make it smell better for her.
Okay.
That's my only note. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell them how to film the scene for sure, but
Sure.
she'll stay in it longer, and she
Uh-huh.
will be even more realistic looking
Hmm.
if it smells familiar.
Okay.
Because I feel like I see an image of her as an animal communicator to
Hmm.
describe what is happening to me is I feel her moving sometimes where they're like, oh, we want her to, or
Hmm.
getting up.
Yes.
And
She's
have you,
done that.
oh,
Yes.
yeah. So if they want her to plop down and it be very realistic, do something about the
About the
smell.
smell. Okay.
So then she also talks about, yeah, I know you asked about she talks about the lights being much brighter and it
Mhm.
being a cold. And I know, sets can get hot and cold.
Yeah.
And so I think one, that's important for people to know who have big dreams about their dogs. The
Mhm.
reality of a set is that it can be sensitive. And she says she's had to deal with that with her own eyes when it's been bright. And I
Mhm.
know there's also scenes where it's darker.
Yeah.
What have you noticed, like her eye? I mean, she says she can manage it. She tends to she's more sensitive to the brighter lights.
Yeah, definitely. I think when they have lights shining and the camera moving, she gets a little bothered by it.
Uh-huh.
But so we work with an agent. Can I mention them?
Sure.
Um, so Dawn Animal Agency of New York. They've
Okay.
actually been around for about 50 years. And there's a trainer. Well, she's also the head of the agency. Bambi, her name is.
Oh, that's perfect.
She worked so well with her. She just made sure she was comfortable, cool, because when you have a dog on set, especially a bulldog, it can get warm with the lights.
Yeah.
They don't always have the air flowing. So we had cooling collars and things like that. But people think, oh, cool, I want my dog to do this, but not every dog is made
Mm-mm.
for it because they may get stressed, anxiety, things come up.
Right. So she says she actually likes it. So Is Bambi the on-set trainer? And then do you have somebody else for animal compliance, or does she do both?
She does both. There's Bambi and Karen are the two on-set trainers.
Uh-huh.
I'm usually just the mom on set unless they really need me to get her to do something. But most of the time, and I wonder what she thinks about it, they actually have me out of the scene.
Right.
So how does she feel about that?
Well, oh, she's sweet. So she says she misses you. That's
Aw.
funny. She misses you. She's okay. She's in good hands. She says you would actually like to watch it because you'd find it amusing.
Mhm.
That because it's a lot of fun. And she
Yeah.
said sometimes, and I've heard this before about Martin Short, that he'll improvise. But
Mhm.
she says sometimes the scenes do turn out different than what they've practiced. So you don't get to see that part.
Yeah.
And so she said, that's too bad because you would actually like it. But she says it's good to know, again, this is for listeners who think it would be fun to do work on set with their dogs, is that you, the dog mom,
Mhm.
have to be very quiet and
Yeah.
you have to be out of the way. And it's just like stage moms that
Mhm.
people hire casting. I know this, I live in LA and I know plenty of people in the industry, is that
Uh-huh.
sometimes casting decisions are made. It's like, okay, well, how's the mom? And it's same with how's the dog mom. If you're too chatty or involved and can't follow their rules,
Yeah. Mhm.
there goes your dog's career, right?
Yes, I'm usually quiet, hiding in some corner. I can usually see her. She doesn't always see me.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trusting of like Bambi and Karen and, feeling comfortable with everyone else now. So she's been doing really well. And then as soon as the scene's over, I'm back in front of her. But yeah, you can't just be hanging around and taking pictures and things. Everything is
Yeah.
secret.
Yeah. So she misses you in the terms of she likes to share fun experiences with you.
Oh.
And so she says you don't get to do as much of that she does, but she likes that whenever you make it special when they bring her back to you,
Mhm.
that there it's always very reassuring. So she's never afraid. And I talk about this with people who talk about separation anxiety when they leave their homes.
Mhm.
And then, I'll say, well, a lot of dogs like it when you have the same sort of ritual of when you come home, whatever you decide. And you and Minnie, she's showing me that when she's brought to you, she looks forward to it because she's done with that. And then you have a special way of focusing on her that fills up her heart.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like they actually bring her to you and it's like do they hand you a leash? Is she on a leash at that
Yeah.
point? Yeah.
Mhm.
Like they make a transition and
Uh-huh.
that's symbolic to her. When you are handed the leash, she knows she's done working.
Oh,
When
okay.
you are given the leash, she
Mhm.
doesn't associate you with working. She associates you with this mom home kind of feeling that she can
Oh.
relax. And that's really important, that transition of the leash.
Mhm. Yeah, and so when they do that, usually whether I'm still waiting until they're going to do another scene or we sometimes head back to the dressing room, she is fine and she'll like even fall asleep sometimes when we're there. So I sense that she's comfortable.
Yeah. So, do you have any other questions? I mean, I know we've got a lot going on between the dog mom and what it's like to have a dog on a show and what she has to say, and then what it's like
Yeah.
working with all these fun people. So
Mhm. Sure.
I want to make
Well,
sure you have questions if you do.
yeah, I have a question. I just want to, of course, her happiness is what means the most to me. So
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that she is happy with work. Does she like working? Would she prefer just being home on the couch? Like, how does she feel about it?
She definitely likes the working
Mm-hmm.
for sure. And she also likes that platform piece, that thing of when she's meeting people and talking about the fact that, you know, she didn't have a fully pampered life, and then you went and got her, and then you're like turned her into this famous model, that she can, you know, people can learn from that. She was rescued from an experience that wasn't all positive. I mean, people who have listened to my episodes before, you know, there are dogs that are rescued that somebody passed away maybe or moved, and the dog was very well loved and cared for, and it being rescued is not a stigma. But some dogs do have a past where they need help decompressing from a stressful situation. And she likes that she had an experience that she needed to transition from, but then it's been very positive, and that it's like, go ahead, go to your shelter and get a rescue dog. You know, she really likes that part of her story a lot.
Oh, good. Because I have a, you know, tendency of saying it as soon as people are like, oh, can I pet her on set? And they want to talk, oh, she's so cute, or this or that. English Bulldog, they start talking to me, and then I just start saying, yeah, she's a rescue. We rescued her. We talk about fostering and all that. So you know, she's always hearing me talk about it.
Yeah, she likes that a lot, and she thinks it's important. And she'd almost like when talking about the show and talking about the fact that, like, you can even find English Bulldogs through rescues, and that, you know, or that an English Bulldog might not be for everyone. People have their ideas that dogs have to be a certain way. She likes that the show is fun and it's entertaining, and we all need fun things to watch.
Sure, yeah.
But she also likes that we can talk about the importance of fosters and the importance of rescuing, and that dogs that are rescued can go on and have wonderful lives that make a difference.
Yes.
So
I would say she's our little rescue ambassador.
Definitely, that's it. She likes that a lot, and she's like, I get like this sound like press tour. She's like, let on the press tour, let people know about that. And I know, like, we talked about Martin and Selena, and I want to cover, because, you know, Steve was one of the creators of the show, and you asked, you know, what does she feel comfortable saying that they would like? And she says that Steve's a softie for dogs, and she's making headway with him. I don't know his past with dogs, but she feels like she has a special nudge with him. Like, I mean, in some ways it's private, so I don't want to, but it's like she's opening up and making headway with him, whatever that means. And she likes that. Oh, so it's more than just talking about her relationship with Steve Martin, but just that anybody open up to dogs and get to know them at their own pace. And some people and dogs can have a different relationship. Like, she has different relationships with her castmates, and that it's good when we let dogs do that.
Yeah.
And that, just like I have no idea where this show's going in terms of, like, I want to know who are the surprise guests that are coming.
Oh, I know.
I want to know that. I want to know these twists. But at the same point, it's like with Minnie, it's like, oh, where's she going to go with her relationships with people and what's going to come? And it just unfolds with dogs. And we can't push it. But I see it in terms of your question, what she's showing me about her relationship with him is this nudging and this special bond that she has.
Yeah, I was very impressed with him. They're all so sweet and, you know, very kind. And, especially him. He'd be walking by and he just would have to pet her. Hi, Minnie. Hi, Winnie. You know, he just always greeted her and acknowledged her. And I could tell that, you know, they both seem to like that, you know, like if he would be walking by, he would just need to like pet Minnie, and even Selena as well. So I think it was also nice having a dog on set for the people that were working behind the scenes. So I think she likes that part of it.
Oh, I think she does. I mean, she does see herself as an ambassador, and whatever's going on in his life with dogs or whatever,
Uh-huh.
I mean, like as I said, people have their personal things going on. It's like there's an unexpected little connection there that the
Mhm.
two of them are that's blossoming between the two of them, whatever that is.
Oh.
So in a session I go through, and you can probably attest to this in your own studying of
Mhm.
animal communication. I personally like to go through favorite things to find out what a dog likes, like what are her
Mhm.
favorite things. And I feel like we touched on that, like with the main characters, she has favorite things that are sort of reassuring, the humming that Selena does, where it's just sort of subtle, and Martin's movements, and whatever this blossoming relationship is that's between, very much just between her and Steve Martin.
Yeah.
But then she says, like, another favorite thing that she likes is the trust of that leash being handed from the trainer and
Mhm.
animal compliance to back to you. She
Okay.
very much likes that structure. She
Mhm.
likes that she is allowed to have her security of the stroller.
Mhm.
And even when she's offset where they're actually filming, she knows that when she's not whatever location the scene is being shot, she likes that she has her safe space offset,
Yes.
that
It's always
there's,
waiting.
yeah, she's very good with that, the structure. And again, for people listening about a dog on set, that it's very disciplined. And like, how long is she on set? Like, how many hours? A
Yeah.
dog that's going to have this career needs to respect boundaries and rules and where
Mhm.
it's going to stay and who it's with. How many hours is the longest that she's been on set?
So it was right before the holidays. They were really trying to get the first couple of episodes in. I think there was a day where we were there about 10 or 12 hours,
Mhm.
but obviously you're not working the whole time. They make it very comfortable. You have your dressing room and she has her food and whatever she needs, and we're relaxing most of the time. But it is like you're away from home and you're waiting in your little room. So it's definitely a long day. People don't understand that. They're like, why is it taking so long?
Right.
But we both know that if we're going to be going and they're booking us for at least 8 hours, it can go into overtime and,
Yeah.
because sometimes things take longer than they should, or something happens.
Right. Right. Okay. So now I'm going to ask her, I go through a process, and I'll ask her, does she have any personality preference? And says she's actually very well suited for this work. She can get along with everybody. And she says that when she has preferences over people who she might not care for as much, she can be very diplomatic. And when she doesn't, for her, it's not necessarily that she doesn't like somebody, it's that she doesn't feel safe or secure with somebody, or
Mhm.
they don't get me. She doesn't like when people are like, ooh, like, I'm not a dog person. she
Yeah.
she she, she can see right through that, she says.
Mhm.
So she likes being with real people. It's
Okay.
either stay away, that she doesn't want people to ever feel forced to be friends with her.
Mhm.
That's just her personality. She's like, I
Yeah.
can put up with it, but don't patronize me. She's sort of like that. And so that, she says she's very well suited. And good tip, that don't try to make your dog be either a model. She says she's done modeling. We haven't talked much about that. Don't try and make your dog into this career if
Mhm.
it's not well suited to it, because it's a lot of
Yeah.
work. I have a question. This is like with children, they have laws that the money has to go for the children, and they get it at a
Mhm.
certain age. Do they have any of those guidelines for dogs? Like, do you have to spend
Actually,
money on her a certain amount? Or,
that's a good question. Actually, they don't have any guidelines. That's the one thing. They don't really have a lot. They actually treat them as, I hate to say it, but the prop master is the one that books the animals usually.
oh,
So
wow.
it's almost like they're props, but then, they turn into more once they're on set and working with actors. But the money, the parents get the money and it really doesn't, there's nothing designated for them, but we do like a special thing where we have a special fund. It goes for their toys, treats, bedding, whatever they need. They get very spoiled.
That's funny. Do you, it's like you go to a dog store and they get to pick out something after each job?
Yeah,
That's
actually,
cute.
I like to do like special dinners, like I'll home cook and I'll make them salmon and potatoes and, vegetables and things like that. Or we go to a canine shop where they sell raw meat. They're on a raw diet. So we'll get like special things there that they get. But what is it that we also get? The bark box they get once a month.
So, okay, do you live in New York City?
Well, actually, Long Island.
Okay, so are you saying there's a store that sells just like a butcher that's raw food that's just for dogs?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Yes.
Of course there is.
They have a special store, so it's all for them. It's a canine butcher. Believe it or not. And then we go there, we get the meat, I do the vegetables. Actually, Minnie was 1.5 years when she came to live with us. So she has not touched kibble since then.
Yeah, well, her coat's beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
Its coat's beautiful. So I always do a disclaimer, I'm a dog advocate, that whatever a raw diet is, whatever a diet is for a dog, it depends on the dog. I have 3 dogs, so this is what works for Minnie. And if you have questions, I mean, people can reach out to you about this butcher.
Sure. Yeah, we have a lot. People do reach out to us. Sometimes I'll do like a Instagram live where we're preparing the food or something.
Okay.
Ideas, or some people will reach out if they're having issues and then they want to know, well, what do you use for Minnie? She doesn't have tear stains, different things. So I'm happy to help. That's one of the things I love about doing this as well, is that people can see her, they can know there is, different things out there you could do for your dog, and not just, you don't have to live with like skin issues, and because they do have a lot of people say they're very high maintenance, which they are.
Yeah.
So, but if you keep them on a good diet, and exercise, they actually do have wonderful lives, and because we do a lot with animal rescue, bulldog rescue. And, they come in with skin issues because people just, if you're on a certain food and it's not working, maybe you try something else, or certain, proteins and things like that.
Well, she loves this platform part of it. She's definitely not a diva. When you said the part about the stains, she showed me that you also use some kind of a soothing oil or gel or something on her face. Do you know what this is? I mean,
yes, that's so
she's
funny.
like, she wants you to tell people because it's like an oil or something that you put on her face that is so good that people need to know about who have this issue. And I got this feeling of how soothing it's like apricot oil or something. What is it?
So you're gonna laugh. She eats her dinner, her breakfast. I do a baby wipe and I wipe her face, but then she gets Desitin baby ointment.
Okay.
Folds.
Yeah, she gets something right like that. And it's like, it feels so good to her.
And it's a little bit oily. It is oily, but it's a white paste.
Okay.
Like diaper cream.
Yeah.
So she gets a little bit in her folds and it keeps her nice and clean and dry.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, your secret immediately, like you're busted. She was like, oh, tell them about this. Oh, that's funny. Okay, Minnie, it's not a bad thing. She says she wants to help the other dogs. Like, gosh, what a nice diva dog. She's not. She wants to help people. And she doesn't, people who have a dog, if you're listening and you struggle, you've got a bulldog and the care issues, reach out to Josephine. She's offered. She's on Instagram. I love your feed.
Thank
Some of
you.
your videos are so entertaining. You're a good match you're in good company with your co-stars. I definitely consider you co-star. Your co-stars because you're funny and your videos are very amusing, but she loves that you can educate people like the Desitin secret that she shared with us. Impromptu. Okay, so Minnie, what else do people need to know? We've been talking about Dog Mom. This is not just for everyone. If you want to explore it, we need good dogs in shows. They're fun, they add, but you want to respect the limits of the dogs. And
yes, totally. You never want to push them if they're uncomfortable, obviously, and it's not an easy thing. There's a lot of waiting around. So if you have a dog that's high energy and just, can't settle down, they're not going to feel comfortable.
Right.
So you want to make sure it's going to feel right for them. And you're going to have patience as well, and not just think you're going, oh, I'm going on set.
Right.
It's not, and especially through the whole pandemic, it was getting COVID tested, wearing the mask, the shield, you can't breathe some of the days, So
and you have to check your ego. So the show is just renewed. So I've become a diehard fan. When I saw Minnie and I was like, oh, I want to talk to her. And then I started watching the show. And then I was like, oh, when's the next episode? Oh, I binge watch. But it's not like you can call up Steve Martin and say, are we going to be on the next episode or not? You have to check your ego and just wait for the phone call, right?
Yes. So I don't know when they'll notify us, like for this season, they started filming last October.
Wow.
We were actually called in at, I guess it was like November after Thanksgiving. And then we started filming until April. So, they book all the actors obviously, but I'm sure they'll wait on renewing if she is going to get renewed, which I hope, because it really was, fun experience for her. I have a question. So they can tune into people's energies,
yes,
because sometimes here and there, she might meet someone that she's a little standoffish because I think maybe she doesn't like the energy.
Oh, definitely. Dogs know. I mean, they say that dogs know good people. I had a client who, the dog actually bit somebody. And we realized that the person was not a good person for this person. Yes. Wow. And so, not that we ever really want to make excuses for a dog bite, but if anybody has a dog and you notice that your dog doesn't respond to so-and-so, respect what that dog is trying to tell you. And, still work. I'm a big believer in dog trainers, regardless of how old your dog is. If your dog was a puppy and you passed puppy school with flying colors and then, hey, and then your dog is suddenly showing whatever, you've moved or somebody moved into your home, go to a dog trainer again when your dog is 6 and revisit that. I've got a dog that's deciding it wants to say something, but we're not done yet. So I'm going to say, we're going to be quiet. Okay. So the point is that dogs will certainly have their preferences on people. If you are going to take your dog into a public place or you want it to work, Wolfgang, then you want to make sure it's reliable.
Yeah.
I have taken up a lot. I'm going to wrap up now. I think we've covered everything. So I just want to thank you again for chatting with us, Josephine, and for being so available to let people reach out to you if they have other questions your Instagram is the best place, right?
Yes. So it's Baby Howard's Buddies.
Okay.
And like you said, we do these silly, funny videos. We have her sister Luna and her little baby brother Barney. So they're always up to something.
Yes.
And I say their mission in life is just to create smiles. They do go on set and they do promote awareness and for rescue, but most of the time they're just trying to remind us like to smile.
They're so cute. They're so funny. They are highly recommend Baby Howard's Buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And Minnie, we will stay tuned for you and find out what's next in your career, whether it's acting or modeling. Thank you for sharing in all of your lessons as well as insights into a little bit of the behind the scenes with your co-stars. And I just want to encourage anyone to continue to talk to your dog. If you want to learn more about animal communication, as Josephine has learned how to use it with her own dogs and her friends, whether you want to go explore it deeper, reach out to me. You can use animal communication privately in your own personal life. If you want to use it professionally and weave it into your work with animals, it definitely makes an impact as you learn to trust and get specific, just like I could know that Minnie likes sweet potatoes. So thank you for joining us, both of you. I wish you much success and enjoyment.
Thanks so much. It was so much fun, and we're honored to be invited to be on a podcast, right?
Yes. She's like, wait till I tell Martin Short about this. All right. Well, great. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Ready to find out what your dog wants you to know? Visit talkingwiththedogs.com, book an appointment with me, and we'll find out.